Well, as Daddy would say, I'm the last of the beacons. I was the bee. Born Suzette, but everyone called me Susie. Or Boo. Because I'd go around finishing, don't know the kids think that I'd go around finishing all the wine. So Boozy became Boo. You know, my children don't know. So when I think of my dad, I think of a very strong, handsome, intelligent man. But it's strange to me, he never passed 47. When I think of my daddy, he's 47 years old. And I'm still 21. I was never good at math, and those things don't add up, but it's going in my favor as I matured, so that's good. I think of Mom is 38, so it's okay. My dad, I lost when I didn't lose him, but my parents divorced when I was 14, so they knew Daddy more than I did. And that's okay, because I had my mom. And it was her and I, and you and me against the world, you know, and it was a time. But my dad, I know he loved us, but as Melody said, he was raised in an orphanage, so you can't give what you don't have, or what you didn't receive. So we received a lot of our love from our mom. And I gotta tell you, Christmases were amazing, and holidays were amazing, and it was just, they were amazing. They were fun and laughter, and as they said, my dad was an entity in himself. My dad was very funny, and you know, of course, to me, you know, when your dad says the same jokes over and over, you're not so funny anymore. But of course, when your girlfriends come over and they grab, when he'd say, "Oh, nice to meet you," and he'd go to reach the hand, and of course, kiss his own hand. Oh, you know, but you know, and so, and then, "Oh, your dad's so funny," and I'd be like, So yeah, right. So and don't we find ourselves doing the same thing? But the thing, my children on the way to school the other day, they said to me, "Mom, do you have a good story about your dad?" And I said, "Well, you know, I do, but I'm going to tell it at the funeral, and I don't want you to hear it till now." So I remember being in the Cadillac in the back seat, and we hadn't taken off yet. And communication. I don't know why I did this, because I normally wouldn't do this, but you know how it is, because my dad played his country western music. And so when you're like, you know, younger, you don't like the country western music. And so I leaned, we're in the car, and I leaned over the front, and I changed the station. Ooh. Yeah, right? I know, I don't know what I was thinking. And so my dad, he kind of does this, and he goes like this too. And so of course, I'm like, you know. And so I sit back, and of course, I do what every loving daughter would do. I looked at the back of his head and went, not realizing.
You have the rearview mirror.
Oh yeah, I'm going. And then I look up in the rearview mirror, and there he was, and he gave me the look. That's all my dad had to do, was give me the look. And they know what I'm talking about, the look. And I was kind of, just want to kind of go back into the seat. But that's all I ever had to do. My dad never laid a hand on me. He never laid a hand on us, I would say. He never had to. He just would give me the look. Really. So I hope I've learned the look. As they said, my daddy was a singer, and I did sing. I sang on the Strip, and that was a lot of fun. I had a great time with that. And that was an amazing time. But I gotta tell you, my daddy only came and saw me once, that I remember. He might break it. But this, like you said, those memories, this was a magical memory. I remember Danny and I were rocking the house. We were just going, rocking the house, and I'm singing, I look over, and here comes my dad walking. No, you go to the back. No. He goes front and center, man. He sat center row, center row, and I was so excited. We're rocking the house, and I was so excited. I saw him there, and I almost fell off the stage. And so Dad is looking at me, and he's like, whoa, man, what's going on? And this kind of thing. And then, of course, my dad center row, the very shy, meek man that he was. I was able to introduce him, and he was to get a round of applause. And of course, he stands up and says, "What? You just got applause? Throw money!" Oh, man. So that night, I sang a song to my dad. Good old Willie Nelson. Love Willie. Just saw him on the awards. I don't think that man ever has aged. It still sounds good. I guess. But the song I sang to my dad was "You Were Always on My Mind." And I think it was his song. I can remember he would say, I didn't hear, my dad didn't say "I love you" a lot until later on in years, as you don't see him for a while, and at the end of the conversation, I would always say, "I love you, Daddy," and he'd say, "I love you too, baby. Yeah, that baby. I love you too, baby." And I remember one time on the phone when he said it to me first, and I thought it was funny, where he said, "I love you, baby," and I said, "I love you too, Dad." And he always had to say, "Is this Melody? Is this Melody? No, this is Susie. This is Zach, the last Mohicans. How you doing?" But the song really fit him. And it was kind of his theme song, like I said. He couldn't give what he didn't have. But you know what? Through this and that, I know my dad loved us. And he showed us a lot the way that he could, the only way that he could. And so I would say, maybe I never told you how much I loved you. Maybe often as I should have. But you are always, always on my mind. And I do know that because I remember calling him and he would say, "Oh, it's 9:29, my birthday." He said, "Oh, it's 9:29. I've been praying for you." "Oh, it's 9:18. I'm praying for Melody." 3:18. I was just thinking of your mom. Numbers meant a lot to him. I wasn't there for a lot in the home with my daddy. But he gave a lot. Like I said, how he could. But what he gave me, he was a brother and a sister that loved me unconditionally. Because I was the baby and I was very spoiled. And I was a brat. I was a brat. And I had to learn. It's not all about me. I had to learn that. But my brother and my sister were always there for me. Always. She was forced to take me places when I was, "Take your sister." She always had to take me and Kevin with his lawn business, and 100 degrees outside, and he was mowing that lawn, and we got that fresh squeezed orange juice, and he took his, and he took mine. I remember that. 117 outside. So he passed a lot on to us. You're a very hard worker. You're a very hard worker. And he gave us a lot. So I just have to say thank you. Thank you, Daddy. From the bottom of my heart, you gave all that you had. And we love you. But I can't for 1 second stand here and say, "I want you back here how you were." Because he was so sick. So sick. He is in heaven.
Amen.
He is in heaven.
Yeah.
He accepted the Lord, and just like that song said, I can only imagine. He's imagining. He's no more. He is not imagining. He is there. He is breathing. I remember being with him, and my dad was not a complainer, and in the end, he would just say, just look at me and say, I don't feel good. That's it. Are you kidding me? I'd be like, I would not be happy here, you know. I can't breathe, I can't hear, I can't see. One quick story. Last time I was with him. Now I'm a mom. I have 6 kids. I cook. And my dad proceeded to tell me how to make his grilled cheese. Now you take the bread, and you gotta put butter on it. Not a lot of butter. And don't try to cheese me with the margarine. Butter, and all that. And then had that down pretty good. And then he told me how to do it. And I was so nervous I burnt the first 2. Because they were telling me that if you don't make Dad's food right, he's going to get really mad. You don't like my dad when he's mad? No. You don't like Daddy when he's mad because he's like, did you burn myself? So, thank you for being here. And it was so good to see close friends and new friends. This is good. Life is good.